If you are too sensitive and cannot bear the truth, then this video might not be for you. But if you want to know what's wrong with you and why so many people are succeeding around you while you are stagnating in your place, why some of the people you have met in your life have reached higher level of success than you have while you have remained stuck. If this is your case, then stay with me on this video. We'll break it down together and you'll see that it all makes sense and that everything is in your hand. I know many of you are on their way to financial success, so I wanted to compile a list of things that poor people do to ensure their stagnation. Yes, we are completely responsible for the situation we are in most of the time. However, before diving into the subject of this video, please do not take any offense to anything that is going to be said. I may say something that may probably hurt you, but don't take it too personal. Rather, use it as an opportunity to reflect on your current situation and what you could do to improve yourself. Try to extract the lessons I'm about to tell you to use them in your journey to achieve your financial objectives. And if you are too sensitive, then this video might not be for you and you can leave it. That being said, feel free to express your thoughts in the comment below, whether you agree or not with what I'm going to expose. But be aware of the fact that reality is what matters, not our emotion or false opinions. Being aware of these habits and activities may give you a slight edge over most of the people that surround you. So let's dive into the first point. What you need to know is, first of all, that poverty is not a shame, because how many rich people are actually very poor in their heads and in their human values. And you can find at the same time poor individuals that are rich in many other aspects. Poverty is something that we inherit most of the time, but keeping it is a choice. And note that I'm talking about poverty at the financial level as well as the mindset, because there are many other forms of wealth. And the problem, however, is that we all need money to pay our bills and to get ahead, and many of you are still struggling to pay small bills and worrying every day about tomorrow. Furthermore, poverty is such a mental state that many of us have internalized their situation as unchangeable, leading them to be discouraged, negative, and stuck. But please don't feel bad about what I'm saying. Everyone, including the successful people we all admire, have been there at some point. What matters is that you learn from it and make the necessary changes in your life to achieve what you want. So let's dive into the subject. Watching TV. The first thing that rich people don't do, but poor people do, is watching TV for a long time. If you don't miss a single episode of your TV show and you know everything about life of celebrities, then this is the sign that you watch too much TV. Rich people are more likely to be on TV to talk about their business or to work on a show that will make them money. Most of you might say that TV is what allows you to relax and disconnect from reality, and that's the problem: disconnect from reality. Instead of facing your problems and using this time to solve them, financially broken people find in TV a refuge to forget, and meanwhile, they sink even more in their bad situation. Others will tell me, yes, but I need to watch the news to know what's going on in the world and with people. You have to understand that all the celebrities' news stories make their business work. The more people talk about them, the more money they make from your attention, while you could be using this energy to get ahead in life. You don't need to know everything about what's going on in this world, because there are some things that you can do anything about, and most of the time you forget 3/4 of what you've been looking at in vain, isn't it? Instead, and if you want to, check out news summaries on the topics that interest you and focus on the topic that will move you ahead in life. Most media channels have their own agenda and sell your attention to advertiser, so the more sensational they are, the more you watch them and the more money they make. While you are watching TV, rich people are training, learning new skills, reflecting on their ideas, improving their business, meeting mentors or coaches that will help them move up instead of stagnating, having useless conversation about useless topics. The second thing that many poor people do, and which is somewhat similar to the first one, is to spend their time on social media such as Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, and even WhatsApp. They spend hours on social networks looking for the latest news about their friend, about some stupid celebrity stories or stupid videos. And all this for what? Just for curiosity, without this information adding anything to their life. Some people spend hours on their phone glued to their ear on WhatsApp calls talking about things that are useless for their life and that concern other people's life. Let's not forget that life is short and that each day we only have a limited time and a defined amount of energy. If we spend these resources on things that don't move us ahead and only on distraction that benefit others, then it will be the biggest betrayal we could make to ourselves. Wealthy people use social networks to promote their business, to connect with people who will bring them something and make them move ahead. These are people who understand that time is limited, so you can only meet them with a great difficulty because they don't have time nor for you, nor to discuss trivial matters with you. And I'm not saying to cut yourself off from everything, to stop watching TV, to stop using social networks. I'm just saying that most poor people often have a bad use of media that is detrimental to them. And the whole game is to understand this and to use this means to our advantage to learn, advance, and improve. Waiting for a savior. The third thing poor people or people with a poor mindset do is waiting for someone to take compassion on them to get them out of their situation. They wait for a savior who will never come. And rather than being careful about their life choices, poor people or poor mindset people often think in the short term without even looking to the long-term consequences. They rely on a retirement that may not come, and that if it does come, will be so low that they will continue to struggle financially. They expect the government to do everything for them, but like it or not, the government's power is limited if people do not also give of their goodwill to improve their situation. We see a lot of people who are struggling, going out late at night and then waking up late in the day, wasting their time and the time they could have used to find a job, build a business, create a useful project for people. Rich people or people with a rich mindset, on the contrary, take full responsibility of their actions and their condition. They don't blame others for something they themselves are responsible for. They acknowledge this and execute a plan that will allow them to achieve their vision. And how do you expect to be on the same level as someone who gets up early every day to move ahead in their life and uses the 24 hours of their time productively? It's logical that this person will pass you by without any problem while you stagnate, and there's no secret. And remember one thing, no one cares about your situation. Everyone is busy enough on their own. So if you yourself do not do the necessary things to get out of it, then no one will come to help you. You must take full responsibility of your situation and your future. They don't save money. Another thing that poor people do is not to build up an emergency fund so that at the slightest difficulty their situation worsens seriously. In reality, during the periods when you were working, you should have saved money for the hard times in your life and not live from day to day without worrying about what might happen until someone comes to save you. The fact that you don't earn enough to be able to put money aside is not an excuse, because if you can put money aside, it's because you don't earn enough and that you will have to implement actions to increase your income, whether it's training to do a job that pays better, whether it's asking for a raise, whether it's creating a side hustle or a business in full. In short, you will have to think and find a solution to be able to put aside at least 50% of your income. That's the goal from now on. The rich people are absolutely not in this logic because they plan their financing in case of a hard time. They have savings that sometimes earn them money. They have insurance funds, health funds, and an income in advance that allows them not to touch their emergency fund for a period of at least 6 months, for example. And it's important to know where we stand today to understand why we are in this situation. By being surrounded by people who look like us, we don't become aware of the keys that richer people have that put them in the situation they are in now. They live an expenditure lifestyle. Another problem that poor people face is to be involved in a spending lifestyle. In other words, whenever these people will earn money, they will be tempted to increase their spending. Let's take the example of a person who gets a salary increase and immediately rushes to buy the latest iPhone, changes entire wardrobe and buy a new car, leaving nothing as savings behind. The rich people, on the contrary, have understood the rules of the game and act differently. Each time the income increases, they try to improve their investments and optimize their expenses. Of course, they don't deprive themselves, and of course, they enjoy life to the extent of their income, but the surface that we can see hides in reality a very well-run system. These people have come to have this rhythm of life only because they have known very well to ensure they're back. Sometimes we can see people with very limited incomes owning the latest plasma and the latest phones while they are buried in debt, which is meaningless. Some of them come to the end of the month and complain that they don't have enough money to finish it and complain about having a miserable life, when in reality they should have invested this money in things that will bear fruit later on and not give in to the temptation of the short term. Let's remember one thing, that when you buy a phone or a car, for example, its value keeps decreasing every day, so it's a negative investment that makes you lose money. The rich people, or the rich with a rich mindset, invest and put their money in things that bring them more and more value every day. This is the difference between the mindset between the rich and the poor. It takes a minimum of patience before being able to fully enjoy and reach the level of rich people, and do not fall into the temptation of the short term. Live with envy and rage. Another character trait of poor people who fail to succeed is that they maintain a very negative state of mind regarding successful people. It seems that their hearts are filled with envy and rage regarding people who are in a better situation, and rather than taking full responsibility for their situation and their failure, they prefer to blame the others, or at least explain the success of many rich people by negative elements that comfort them in their situation and that are all excuses for not acting. It's true that not all rich people have reached the level by honest means, but there's a majority of people who have arrived by their own efforts, and maintaining this rage in oneself puts these people sometimes to occupy their days in slander. And wealthy people, even if they are not perfect, do not spend their day talking about people and destroying them. On the contrary, they set goals and look ahead to them, and they do not have the time for anything else. And you will see them most of the time eliminating any trivial problem and moving away from it. And it's well known, when you lack activity, then the only thing to do is to talk about people. Bad at discipline. Another trait of someone with a bad mindset is that they are bad at following through on their commitments and at being disciplined. You will have ideas, but you will put them off. You make all kinds of excuses for why they won't work, and you let fear paralyze you. You're also quick to give up if you start but run into difficulties. Whereas the wealthiest, in the other hand, initiate their ideas. They are laser focused. They are very result oriented. They will figure out how to borrow the money needed to put their idea into action, and they will take risks for themselves because they believe in their true potential. They understand that if they fail, they will have more chances to succeed, because failure is not the end. It's basically about learning from mistakes and trying again. Quitting is never an option for the wealthiest unless all options have been exhausted. A bad understanding of what faith is. It was highlighted in a study that people who had faith and were spiritual succeed less in life. This led many people to understand that faith was responsible for the failure of people who believe. In reality, this is a misunderstanding of the issue, since many entrepreneurs, many inventors, many researchers and scientists manage to create things by being believers. In reality, the people who have a poor state of mind have a bad conception of the faith and of their relation with the one, because after their prayer, they wait for things to fall to them from the sky. In reality, the rich people who succeed have understood that they have to work to achieve the will of their Lord in their life, and that prayer is only a step. If after prayer you do not send your resume to find a job, if you do not do the necessary research to understand your business, if you do not take the necessary actions to give life to your ideas, even if you pray day and night that the table in front of you will rise, it will not rise, because this is not what is asked. That's all for today, friends. I hope you have enjoyed this video and that you have been able to learn from it. I remind you here that I speak in a state of mind and not of the poor in themselves, because we have all somewhere passed through poverty at one time or another. So the goal is not to judge, but rather to begin a self-questioning in order to move ahead. And if you like this video, do not hesitate to subscribe for more videos of this type. Bye!